can I feed my pet raw eggs? Is it safe? Concerns about eggs are some of my most frequently asked questions, both from raw feeders and kibble feeders. There's a few scary claims out there about raw eggs, like the fact that they can carry salmonella, and also the fear that egg whites prevent the body from absorbing important nutrients. Is any of this true? Well, let's find out. First of all, why do owners consider feeding their pets raw eggs anyway? Well, when it comes to foods that have a well-rounded nutritional profile, eggs are hard to beat. The yolk's function is to supply nutrients to the growing chick after all. It's concentrated in vitamin D, A, and most B vitamins, minerals like selenium, zinc, and iron, and also biotin and choline. This all sounds great, but we really need to talk about some of the common concerns of feeding raw eggs. For instance, salmonella. Salmonella is a bacteria that has over 2,600 serotypes. This sounds scary, right? Well, thankfully, less than 100 of these serotypes can actually cause salmonellosis in humans. And additionally, according to the Center for Disease Control, it's estimated that 1 in every 20,000 eggs are contaminated with salmonella. How does salmonella contaminate an egg, you might ask? Under certain circumstances, salmonella can actually be within the hen's ovary or oviduct, and can travel to the yolk and white before the shell forms around it. But as data shows, this isn't very common, especially if the hens are housed in good living conditions. When it comes to our pets, they're actually much better equipped to handle bacteria than we are. To give you a little insight, the Mark Morris Institute found that 36% of healthy dogs carry salmonella in their digestive tracts. And this was found when testing kibble-fed dogs. Since most healthy cats and dogs appear to be asymptomatic to salmonella, this means that they're well equipped to handle it. And to put it into perspective for those who would rather stick with processed food over fear of raw foods containing salmonella, just be aware that in 2021, more than 7.5 million pounds of kibble was recalled for pathogenic bacteria like salmonella. If this still doesn't convince you though, you can of course feed the egg cooked. With salmonella out of the way, what about the fear of egg whites preventing the body from absorbing important nutrients? Within raw egg whites, there's a protein called avidin, and this protein tightly binds to the nutrient biotin, rendering it unable to be absorbed by the body. Biotin is a water-soluble vitamin that aids in skin, nail, and coat health, and the body can synthesize it from other nutrients if needed. However, if avidin binds to the biotin within the body, it can result in a deficiency. This causes dry, flaky skin and coat, and may also cause lethargy and diarrhea. A biotin deficiency is certainly a real concern, but when it comes to raw eggs, this will only happen under one particular condition, and that's feeding only raw egg whites. As I mentioned previously, the yolk contains a very high concentration of biotin, and the white only contains about 0.05% of avidin. So when both are fed together, the biotin loss is negligible. However, if you're worried still, you can always just feed the yolk, since this is where most of the nutrients are located anyway. Well, now that we've figured out that eggs are actually beneficial and safe to feed, how do you feed them? Dogs, cats, and ferrets of all ages can benefit from eggs. However, growing pets have a much higher nutrient requirement than adults, so adding an egg to their meal is very beneficial because of how nutritionally dense they are. When it comes to how often to feed them, fortunately, there's no strict rule, both for raw feeders and kibble feeders. For raw-fed pets, eggs aren't required to balance the meal. They're just a great nutrient booster, so it's fine if you want to feed one daily or just a few times a week. I personally feed eggs 2 to 4 times a week though, unless it's something small like a quail egg. Eggs are a great meal enhancer, but they aren't the only one. Watch these videos to see other ways to improve your pet's meals, whether that be raw or kibble.